All right, what's going on in this video? I'm going to break down the lead sourcing strategy we're using right now for cold email. That's going to allow you to book a ton more calls and get an appointment booking rate of around 1 to 2%, sending 200, 300 emails a day, specifically just because of this lead source. Now, this is not going to be like Apollo or ListKit or any of those saturated softwares that most leads are just dead-end leads, crap leads that get reached out to 100 times a day. This is going to be a specific two-step clay sequence you can use. As long as your niche is on LinkedIn, you'll be able to use this strategy. Now, how it works is, just for some context, we're using this right now in our current campaign. We generated 14 opportunities, we're about 7 or 8 book calls and more people in the pipeline, completed around 670 emails and reply rate of 5%, so well above industry standard. When we get into the strategy itself, find people is actually what you want to use. So if you have clay, all you want to do is you want to go to find people, which is just here. Now I've already set it up once. What you want to do is you want to generate a search, because this is similar to LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So if I go edit source, if you check here, I serve agency owners. So what you want to do is you want to compile all the high intent keywords that people would have in your niche in their LinkedIn profiles. So if I go to LinkedIn, just as an example, I'm going to go to LinkedIn and check some of my connections. When you go to my network, and what you can actually do is you look at your current connections. You go through all of them. What you can do is you can actually scrape all of these into ChatGPT, get the most common keywords. Now, this is the first step. It's not going to be very accurate when you do this in clay, but when you find the keywords, which I've already done here, so email, SMS, Klaviyo, life cycles, flows, CRO, YouTube ads, outbound, cold, pipeline, all of these words, this is the first step, and it's going to give you all the accounts that have at least one of these keywords. Now, the problem with the clay filter, which I actually figured out, and this is why it's a two-step sequence, is that it does all logic. So as long as the profile has funnel, it's going to add, but funnel alone isn't enough to be a qualified lead. We need to have a reasoning-based prompt that checks the profile that has these keywords to make sure it is fitting the ICP. So a whole bunch of things you can filter for. So job titles, you filter for those, maximum followers, anything else you really want to filter for in the find people section. Once you've done that though, you'll have a list of 5,000. If you're on a normal plan, you can put in 5,000 in a full row. And I've already done this whole thing, but what you want to do is you want to run an ICP fit score prompt. All you want to do is you want to connect an API key from your OpenAI account. You can connect an API key, very simple. You can just search on Google how to do that. Connect your API key, run like 4.1 mini or 4.1 nano, and simply what I've told it to do is analyze each headline text, which I've actually hidden because I didn't need it anymore. But if I open up the headline text, what I did is I enriched for the headline text. Now what you do is you just run two separate AI prompts. The first one is, this is actually the second one. If I show you guys the first one. Now, this is just a Clayagent. You can use 4.0 mini. It scrapes the LinkedIn profile from the website, which is automatically given to you when you do find people and you import these leads. But it gives you the literal headline text below their headline. So this thing here below the name in each of these things, it's AI sales automation specialist. It automates the output of all of those headline text, and all you want to do is run a prompt that analyzes the headline text to make sure that the lead is qualified based on not just the keywords that it's got, which is the first step to not just have random leads that we're checking, because when you do it this way, you have automatically leads that will fit, but some won't, because they might have 2-3 keywords that fit, but the profile is not really, for example, for me, an agency owner. So what I do is I run a second prompt that analyzes the headline text itself for any of these things. So email and SMS marketing, paid ads, performance, CRO, conversion optimization, SEO, web design focused, outbound, GDM, appointment setting, outbound, pipeline building, client acquisition, automations, AI systems. So any sub niche categories in the agency owner market, I get it to search for those specifically. Now, when it comes to the score, I get it to give me a score from 0 to 100. And if I show that here, I only take the ones that have a score above 70. So, for example, all of these here are just qualified accounts that I've automated that once you've enriched for the email, once you've validated it, all you do is put it into Instantly. If you've got very high quality leads that not many people are reaching out to because it's not straight from Apollo. Now, for example, this one was growth marketing expert, Google Ads and AI automations for lead gen. It's a score of 90, so that's definitely qualified. Anything above 70, based on your criteria, those are the ones you want to include. The rest you don't want to include in the cold email campaign. Now, you can do this for real estate. You can do this for, as long as your niche is on LinkedIn, it doesn't really matter. Recruiting agencies, anything, real estate firms, whatever type of B2B industry you're looking, SaaS founders, whatever. You can run a similar prompt and you would know what kind of prompt to run. Similar to, ICP fit score, just follow this strategy to figure out the sub niche categories. Firstly, figure out the keywords when you go to find people and you go edit source. All the very common keywords. Be careful not to add like random keywords like marketing, because so many LinkedIn profiles have that. And so Clay will let in very generic accounts that when you run the prompt on, the second prompt, the reasoning prompt, it will not give you qualified accounts because there's so many that are just generic marketing accounts that don't really fit your sub niche or your high intent qualification criteria. Now, this works extremely well. Like, just to show that we've literally been running this campaign for a few days. We've completed 670, like I mentioned, and we've got 14 opportunities, and we've booked like 7 or 8 calls. So these are actually high intent calls. They're not just tire kickers. They're not leads that don't show up. These are one of the leads we actually got onto the phone with was a 200K per month agency owner, which was quite insane with this strategy. Now, if you guys want, when it comes to lead sourcing, this is the best way to do it right now. Not Apollo, not ListKit, not just spam volume. If you guys want any other cold email tips or similar type of lead sourcing for LinkedIn, if you're doing LinkedIn outreach, there's a way you can actually do the exact same thing for LinkedIn to automate your connection requests and automate your first touch or your outreach with a software called Prosp.ai. So if you guys want a video about LinkedIn, well, the same similar thing when it comes to lead sourcing, to make sure the leads are high intent, to make sure they're replying, to make sure you can actually book calls consistently at decent rates so you don't have to spam volume, just let me know and I'll make a video about that. If you guys got any questions about this lead sourcing strategy specifically, you can ask me somewhere in the comments. You can reach out to me on my socials. There'll be links in the description. Other than that, see you guys in the next one. Cheers.